Hello, everybody, and welcome to DRL TV. I am your host, James Pandoff, and we are underway for qualifying for the Dynasty Racing League Truck Series playoffs. 100 laps on this 1.5-mile track. There's going to be a lot of action going on. Currently watching Jarrett Rogers as he performs his qualifying attempt. Taylor, you saw quite a bit of practice. How do these trucks, how are they handling, and who do you think is going to stand out the most?
I'll tell you what, James, this is going to be a real wild card tonight because uh, I did a little test drive before we came on the air, ghosting, and basically it pushes going into the corner, and then is really loose off. So these guys are really going to have to use a lot of throttle control, and it's kind of weird saying this, but they're going to have to be on the gas a little more than they want to in order to get the truck to rotate. And sometimes, as we saw a lot in practice, they get it to rotate too much, and that back end would come around.
As you see right there, William Wingfield starting to lose in the middle of 1 and 2. He's going to have to reset for qualifying. Currently third, so his qualifying is actually over because he did that on his second lap. Who else is on track that we can take a look at? Adam Faree on the apron. Looks like he's coming out.
I'm seeing a lot of people right now sitting at the start-finish line to start in the back, including Austin Collins, one of our playoff contenders, although he's been kind of doing that on a regular basis recently.
Yeah, I don't blame him. With how loose this truck is, they're going to want to stay out of trouble the best they can. We saw it even in the Grand National Series, that car was pretty loose throughout the corners. But this is the second race of this current playoff round. We got one more, and that'll be at Phoenix, and we will then determine our final 4 drivers who will make it into the playoffs. As the wrong playoff graphic is up, so I gotta go to our website to get the actual standings.
The most important thing that we can inform our fans is that nobody is locked in for Homestead, because as Robbie Armstrong won last week, and he is not in the playoffs, so anyone still has an opportunity to make it into the Final Four. And of course, Jeffrey Meyer comes into this race as the points leader by a lot, as well as the favorite here at this racetrack. But I mean, he's in pretty good shape, but he still can't have any catastrophic issues.
As Adam Faree finishes his qualifying effort, he's currently third fastest with a 29.608. And unfortunately, I can't show you viewers on the screen, but take a look at the playoff standings. Jeffrey Meyer, Adam Faree, Richard Springer, and Daniel Holloway are the 4 above the cutoff line going into this race. Daniel Holloway is only 9 points into the good. 5th place is Austin Collins, 9 points back. Teammate Jarrett Rogers is 10 points back right behind him. Adam Purcell is 7th, and Dakota Wilkins is 8th. All 4 drivers outside the top 4 are 1 point behind one another. So the difference between 4th and 8th is looks like 12 points. It's 12-point difference. So with 20 plus drivers on the track, anything can happen going into tonight and next week at Phoenix.
It's not exactly a must-win situation yet for those bottom 4 guys, but it's going to take something. As we saw yesterday in the Xfinity race, Gary Cronenwet entered that race 8th in points and was so close to locking his way into Homestead before Ryan Hesgard ended up beating him out. So we'll probably see that same mentality from those guys below the cutoff line trying to earn their way into the Final Four, as qualifying is just complete. And surprise, surprise, our pole sitter is Jeffrey Meyer.
Yeah, Jeffrey Meyer had a great spring race here at Texas, actually won it. He's a fan favorite.
In spectacular, I'm sorry, James, in spectacular fashion, because if you can recall, he won the pole that night, and I think 10 laps into the race had an internet issue, and he went 4 laps down, but got all 4 of them back, and and came back to win the race. So if that doesn't tell you something of how he feels about this racetrack, then I don't know what else does. And as we begin the grading process, let's bring him into the booth, and we already know how he feels, but let's get him in here. Hey, Meyer, you got a copy of the booth?
Yeah, I do.
Well, we know this is your playground. Hopefully for you, no internet issues this time. Although you've shown, even if you have one of those, you're capable of pulling off the really, just an incredible performance the last time we were here. I know how you feel about tonight, but is there anybody who concerns you at all going into this race as a potential spoiler?
Everybody concerns me that can spin out.
Yeah, we saw a lot of that in practice.
Yeah, it gets slick, so it's just guys not overdriving and playing it smart and, not trying too hard and then we can get a good race in. Otherwise, people are going to get taken out for, no reason.
Well, we hope we see a clean race, and hope to be able to talk to you later on. Good luck tonight, pal.
Thanks.
As we have a 21 truck field, and for the first time since July 10th at Daytona, Jeremy Hebel is back in this field.
Yeah, Jeremy Hebel had to take some time off to take care of some personal matters, but he is back in the field, and we are excited to have him and see what he can do. It's going to definitely be a test with how slick this track is to see if he lost anything. He's going to have to knock the rust off a bit. And the pace car is about to duck off. Jeffrey Meyer will be leading him to the green flag. And green flag is out. Great restart there by Jeffrey Meyer. Teammate Daniel Holloway alongside him. He's going to drop in behind him. There's the 29 of Anna Free and the 57 of Jordan Berry right behind them for third and fourth. And look at David Lindahl. He's up to fifth. A great qualifying effort for that 88.
Look at Holloway. He's going to make the move to the inside of Meyer.
Hey.
He's going to possibly lead this first lap.
It looks like he will. That was a nice power move by Daniel Holloway to take that lead early from his teammate Jeffrey Meyer. As you see, David Lindahl moving up in front of the 57 of Jordan Berry. That's for fourth.
We mentioned the name Jeremy Hebel. He did elect to take a slow qualifying lap and start at the back, but I would have to imagine that he'll be a factor before this race is over, as he's already picked up a couple of spots. Here comes David Lindahl underneath Adam Fareed, looking for third.
A nice showing here by David Lindahl. Hopefully he'll be able to keep it up throughout these 100 laps. He's definitely shown his speed here at Texas. I think this is one of his favorite tracks on iRacing. As we see Adam Fareed getting challenged by the 57 with Jordan Berry right behind him. Jordan Berry lost a couple positions on the start. He's trying to gain him back. Started in third, currently in the fifth position. As we go back to just outside the top 10 with Marvin Wingfield, Richard Springer, Cody Gatsky, a whole bunch of drivers. You see the 28 of Cody Barber mixing it in with Dustin Eicher.
This is definitely a wad back here, and this is definitely what I'm sure Richard Springer would love to get out of this pack and clear this group.
On board with Cody Barber, as we see the four drivers right in front of him as they come off of turn 4. Down into turn 1 they go.
Oh, caution is out. Trying to find who it was.
Maybe the 72. Yeah, it looks like Matt
Vanderkoy, yes.
72. Let's see if we can see.
Oh, looks like some contact with Jeremy Hebel, perhaps. Yep.
Yep,
got him right in the door.
Let's see if we
spins it around and hits the left front and then the left rear into the outside wall.
Let's see if we can get a better look at that. Going through the quad over, it looks like the 72 came down a bit too much into the 1. Let's see if we can get a view from the one's perspective. I don't think Jeremy Hebel moved up at all, but we'll take a closer look here.
Yeah, I mean, that's about the normal line I would expect Jeremy Hebel to be taking into that corner. But yeah, I just think Van der Kooi just kind of misjudged maybe where Hebel was. See what race control has to say about it.
And a good job by him, Van der Kooi, and everybody else to get around without much contact. Looks like just one car involved in that one. Unfortunate for the 72.
And pit road is a busy place. Although Dakota Wilkins, he was hoping to stay out the lead a lap, didn't quite get it. See what he elects to do. Of course, he needs every point he can get following his rough race last week at Martinsville after he and Jordan Berry came together.
Race off pit road, Daniel Holloway wins it.
How about this? I was a little surprised about that start. I figured Jeffrey Meyer would kind of set sail, but maybe I mean, as we've talked to him in the past, he's said he's become a much more patient driver. And, I mean, and we've seen it, so I wonder if he's just letting the race kind of come to him. Plus, he's trying to help his teammate get some bonus points as well.
Yeah, he definitely don't want to burn the tires off, especially on the slick surface. He's probably trying to save his tires as much as he can. Looks like Dakota Wilkins is leading this lap. Every bonus point counts as we near Homestead. And Dakota needs it the most. He's currently sitting 8th, 12 points behind the cutoff line, so this is going to help him out a lot.
And we do get one to go, and he is going to elect the inside lane, so this will probably be the first test of whether 5-lap old tires compared to new tires, how they'll fare against each other.
And hopefully everybody will be patient behind him. The last thing you want is the leader end up wrecking on lap 10.
Yeah, we've seen a couple situations very early in the season with guys trying to, the same thing Dakota is doing right now, is trying to lead a lap, end up restarting as the leader and getting themselves in trouble. So hopefully we can make it through here clean. And hopefully the drivers behind him understand the situation.
Pace car getting ready to duck off at Dakota Wilkins to lead him to the line. Daniel Holloway to his outside. Points leader Jeffrey Meyer in 3rd. Here we go. Green flag is out for Dakota Wilkins.
I'm sure he's going to be a little more conservative getting into turn 1 than maybe some other guys.
So far, so good for Wilkins. He's able to stay in front of the 26 down the backstretch.
And this track's a little bit cooler than it was in practice. It's down to 86, so I'm sure he'll appreciate that. And he's holding off these guys for the moment.
Going down into turn 1, Wilkins is riding that low to middle line as Holloway's all the way down on the bottom with his teammate. Looks like he's going to get to his inside down the backstretch. Not quite there, but into turn 3, he's definitely going to have a shot at Dakota Wilkins to take that lead. And there he goes, to the inside. I don't think he's going to be able to clear him.
Oh, and he's going to have to wait till the next corner to slide up in front of him. So
Holloway did lead that lap. As you see, David Lindahl working on the back bumper of the 29. Adam Ferrari currently in 5th position.
Well, now that Wilkins has lost the lead, I mean, basically all he needs to do is maintain a top 8 spot or so at the very worst, and then maybe get a caution in order to...
For the lead, Jeffrey Meyer.
Yep, here comes the 50. And he's got his bonus point. He said, no more messing around.
That's for sure. As Dakota Wilkins is starting to drop back a little bit. Adam Free next in line to take that third position away. Well, Taylor, I know it's early, but we see David Lindahl up inside the top 5. The last 2 weeks, we've had first-time winners in the Dynasty Racing League Truck Series. Do you think David Lindahl or even Marvin Wingfield right behind him could make it a third week in a row?
I mean, it's going to be tough to upend Jeffrey Meyer. We know that, but I mean, he's off to a terrific start. I mean, he very well could surprise all of us. As here he goes underneath Adam Farid, trying to take third spot from him. What is chaos in the back of the field, about 12th on back. And again, Richard Springer is right in the center of things. Oh, got a wreck on the back straightaway. Matt Vanderkoy again, down by the inside wall. That won't be a caution, however, as he's towed back to pit road and will stay green. And Lindahl has completed that pass on Farid. And Jeremy Hebel, despite that little incident with Matt Vanderkoy that brought out the caution, he's got a little right front damage, but he's up in the top 10 already. So talk about knocking the rust off.
Yeah, it looks like the slick surface has been a bit of a challenge, and Matt Vanderkoy ended up to that inside wall and towed it. Looks like his night might be over.
Every truck besides the 72 is still on the lead lap. Got a good battle back with Terrence Sine and Wilkins.
Yeah, Dakota Wilkins hanging on inside the top 10 with those older tires. As you see there, Wilkins' teammate Jeremy Hebel up inside the top 10 early. Started in the 19th position, already cracked the top 10.
I wonder if those guys might kind of have a plan laid out. Well, maybe not. Here comes Hebel to his inside. So I was thinking maybe they would be talking in Discord about maybe letting Wilkins just ride there. And Vanderkoy has officially retired from this event. The gap about 3 truck lengths between the Bad Boys teammates, Meyer and Holloway. Although David Lindahl is still keeping up with both of them.
Looks like William Wingfield has a bit of damage on this left rear. He's now in pit lane.
Oh, and that truck is smoking heavily, you can see.
Yeah, it looks like he got into the wall. Let's see if we can see what happened to him.
Just off turn 2. Basically did the same thing Vanderkoy did. It's the thing, you try to put so much wheel to try to get that truck to rotate.
Yeah, that was a hard hit.
Yep.
Kept it straight, but he probably blew the engine on impact.
I would have to imagine so. But up front, Meyer, and he's got company from Holloway, and David Lindahl is closing on both of them. Oh, Lindahl, a little sideways.
There goes
Now here comes Holloway. See what kind of fight Meyer puts up here.
Doesn't look like it's going to be much as Holloway clears him off forward.
technically, Holloway enters this race, the man on the cut line, in
He
fourth.
does indeed. He's 9
With only-
points to the good. If he can win here, and as long as he shows up at Phoenix, he'll lock himself in.
Yeah, that's the thing. When we talk about, team politics, I mean, Jeffrey Meyer has a big enough lead over not just the cutoff line, but everybody else. He has 19 points over second place, which is Adam Farid.
Yep, 31 points to the good is Jeffrey Meyer.
So, I mean, you never know if he might be possibly sandbagging a little bit. Of course, we can never say for sure.
As the 19 of Marvin Wingfield's able to get around David Lindahl, who actually lost 2 positions. Ferry also got by him. The 6 of Corey Sherman, he had a great race going on last week at Martinsville until black flag incident when he sped in pits and he ended up in a wreck. He's working the outside of Dakota Wilkins. That'll be for the 9th spot.
I think that was actually Terrence Sine who had that happen, but yeah, Sherman is.
Oh, you were right. My apologies.
Sherman is giving that truck a good run in the top 10. And speaking of Terrence Sine, he's up in 7th place. Got a good cushion to the guy behind him, which is Hebel. And for the lead, while we were talking about that, Meyer retook it from Holloway.
A great pass there by Jeffrey Meyer. Might have opened the door for Marvin Wingfield as he's closed the gap on the 26. Going back in the pack a little bit, you have Cody Gasky battling it out with Adam Breeden in that 0-1 machine. Oh, they almost make contact.
Touch.
Little wiggle there. This is for the 16th, 17th position. Dustin Eichert right in front of them.
Oh, Breeden, a little bobble. Adam was actually lucky to be here tonight. I was talking to him in pre-race. He's having some difficulty with his internet connection, giving him some fits, but he was able to sort it out.
Oh, wreck, 27,
Oh.
Cody Gasky.
And that'll bring out the caution as he tows immediately.
Let's see if we can see going into turn 1. I think it's the same thing we've seen earlier with the Wingfield.
Yep, it's just the exit of turn 2. You just try to put that much wheel to get the truck to rotate. That rear end just hops out from under you and makes heavy contact. He's lucky not to slide up in front of someone else.
Yes, so far everything has been single truck incidents. That's good for the other drivers on track, not so good for the drivers involved. As you see, Jeffrey Meyer going to lead him down to pit. And taking a look at those older tires of Dakota Wilkins, he did not pit that first caution. He's currently in 10th.
Oh, Terrence Sine, what is going on here? I see him backwards under caution here.
Let's see if we can take a look at that real quick. We're going to follow him from the previous lap.
What the heck was that? I wonder if he downshifted or something right there, because the truck just spun on him instantly. And he overshoots his pit stall a little bit.
Everything's so far so good down the back stretch. Catching up to the
Holloway.
pace car in turn 3.
Marvin Wingfield moves into second off those pit stops.
Yeah, it must have been a downshift. His truck just snapped on him. He didn't hit anything. That's the good news.
Oh, he was lucky because remember at Milwaukee, I believe it was, Robbie Armstrong had the same thing happen to him. He ended up blowing the motor. So he was very fortunate. See if we can bring it into the booth. I know who I'm going to talk to here. Hey, David Lindahl, it's Taylor and James in the booth. You got a copy, sir?
Yes, sir, I do.
Well, you've given that truck a terrific ride up to this point, challenging for third at some points. And how's it feel out there? You're really having a nice run so far.
It's exciting. It's fun. Texas is one of my favorite tracks. I've definitely logged some laps here, and it's showing tonight. I'm having lots of fun.
Well, we were having fun watching you. I mean, is it as loose as it was in practice, or is it the truck feeling a little more balanced now that this track temperature is a little bit cooler than it was during practice?
It's significantly better than it was in practice until about lap 18. Then it just all of a sudden snaps loose. So I definitely had my hands full there the last part of that last run.
Yeah, we kind of saw you fall back, but you're still doing a lot better because we've seen a couple of drivers behind you experience what you've been talking about, losing it off the corner. But we'll let you go here. We'll hope to talk to you later on. Keep on keeping on, man.
Thank you.
Up in the fifth position is Lindahl.
As you see, Wingfield.
Marvin Wingfield. Well, so much for beating Jeffrey Meyer out of pit road. Wonder why he's...
Maybe he's just topping off on fuel, or I'm not really sure what would cause him to come down on the one-to-go lap. But it's teammates 1-2, followed by Adam Free and David Lindahl, who we just spoke to in fourth.
Hey, I think that's all he did was just top off. But I mean, giving up that track position, he would have restarted second. I'm not. I'm curious to what the thought process was there. He's gonna have to hustle to. Well, actually, he's got some time to catch up to the back of the field. And remember, if you like what you see here on DRL TV, remember to hit that like button, follow us, and log on to DynastyRacingLeague.com to see all the stats and standings, and make sure to join us next week, because next week is the cutoff race for all three series to see who makes the final four for each series next week at ISM Raceway in Phoenix, Arizona.
As the pace car is off, Daniel Holloway jumping right away. He's going to have a great restart there on the 50. As Jordan Berry going to be pushing the 88 down into turn 1. Jeremy Hebel to the outside of that. He is going to drop back a couple of positions. As you see the 58 of Adam Vassell right next to Jeremy Hebel.
This track now down to 84 degrees. So I guess around lap 50, based on what Lindahl was talking about there. See if some of these guys up towards the front might start having some handling issues.
And there goes Jeffrey Meyer and the 29 of Adam Free. They might get a 2-for-1 deal on Daniel Holloway down the back.
They might be 3 wide. Lindahl looks like he's thinking better of it.
Jeremy Hebel to the inside of Jordan Berry. As Lindahl is able to make that pass on. Ooh, bobble there by the 88. That's going to stack him up a little. As Jeremy Hebel is going to be the one taking advantage of all of that.
He's going to shoot through that gap, and he might come out of this in third place, and he does.
Almost 3 wide in the back as Adam Vassell is making a move to the inside of Free and the 57 of Jordan Berry. He's going to get by both of them. Jordan Berry had to put a block on the 6 of Corey Sherman to protect his position.
Man, this is a wreck waiting to happen. I hate to say it, but
It looks like the
Guys are all
clouds
over each
are coming out once again. The sun's kind of hiding, so this track should get a little bit grippier, and hopefully that'll make for some continuous exciting racing that we see here.
Well, the big loser in that whole checkup with the 88 was Adam Farias, because the 88 of Lindahl has been able to pull back away from this group, but Farias stuck right in the middle of it. He's got his hands full with Jordan Berry and Corey Sherman, amongst others.
Looks like they're starting to figure it out, as the 6 of Corey Sherman and Dakota Wilkins are the only 2 side-by-side in this wad of vehicles. And then there's Richard Stringer. Haven't really mentioned much of him tonight. He's in the 10th position. Started back in 15th.
Entered this race 3rd in points. I believe 13 above the cut line. And of course, going to place where he won in the springtime, Phoenix.
Marvin Wingfield, who hit it on the 1-to-go lap, he's getting by the 30 of Terrence Sinay, moving up through the field.
Well, this is a concern of mine, because we saw, like we documented earlier regarding Terrence Sinay at Martinsville, out front leading for a while, has a pit road speeding penalty, gets back in traffic and gets involved in a wreck, and just as I say that, Wingfield into the wall, entering turn 1, trying to get that late arc. I mean, this is the concern I have by that strategy he chose to go with. Because he had the opportunity to restart in 2nd. Oh, he nearly lost it right there.
Looks like he's pitting.
He's coming down pit road, hot.
Going very fast. That might be a speeding penalty. I'm not quite sure.
That's a shame.
Jump to
Again.
the front. Daniel Holloway just got passed by Jeremy Hebel, so Hebel now up to 2nd position.
And Meyer has pulled out to about a 2.5 lead.
Yeah, Jeffrey Meyer is going to be one tough driver to beat, as we are now 40 laps complete here at Texas for the Dynasty Racing League Truck Series. Going back to the battle for like 7th through 12th, these guys putting on a heck of a show, as Adam Purcell is able to hang on in front of Dakota Wilkins, Terrence Sinay, and now Jarrett Rogers has joined the mix for this battle of 10th.
Jordan Berry running in front of this group in 5th place, so he's giving that truck a solid ride.
Yeah, another driver who has yet to win in Dynasty Racing League. He might have his opportunity here.
He's shown some flashes of brilliance this season. I mean, finished 4th last week at Martinsville.
As Wilkins to the inside of Purcell, that'll be for the 9th position if he's able to execute this pass onto the backstretch. It looks like he will be able to do that heading down the back. Terrence Sinay going to try to side draft the 58 a little. Trying to make the pass as well. Oh, onto the apron.
I mean, how much have we seen on this racetrack? Oh, they're wrecking. Sinay. No caution yet. There it is. Austin Collins also got a piece of the wall.
Not really sure what exactly happened.
That whole deal started off turn 4 with Sinay clipping the apron, and that bottled up that group of trucks. As Sinay trying to, gather things up, and they approached, or that dog leg right there, it narrows things up a little bit.
Yeah, we see Sinay on the apron here. We're going to take a look back at the 7 of Dustin Eichert. The 99 hits the wall. Oh, I think that was reactionary on Dustin Eichen when he saw the 99 clip that wall.
Oh, we got another deal under caution. What is going on again?
It absolutely looks like a bit of net code with the 7 hitting the 30.
Oh, it's David Lindahl. Under caution.
Yeah, just door banging the 7 right there.
That was, well, actually I should say, it was while the caution was coming out for the wreck off of 4. What? Man, he and Adam Farid just gored each other right there for whatever reason. So Lindahl actually, in front of this group, he nearly lost it. Was trying to regather things.
Let's see if we can see that one more time. Following the 88, we saw the door happen on the backstretch.
On turn 4, he about
Oh,
lost
the 29's loose. That's what happened.
Oh yeah, I see that now. You see him on that seam. Man, it's... Oh man, the commentator's curse strikes again, I hate to say it.
On board with the 29, you see him getting loose here. He's trying to save it, and the 88 just was to his inside, ended up in the wall.
I mean, that's a shame. In more ways than one, because at that point, the caution had come out at that point, I do believe. So, I mean, there was nothing to be gained right there by either driver. No, that's too bad. Just hopefully, maybe Lindahl can get some of this fixed and salvage something. See who we can talk to real quick. Hey, Jeremy Hebel, it's the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, it's my pleasure, as well as James' pleasure, to welcome you back to Dynasty Racing League. It certainly looks like, I know you had a little deal earlier with the 72 truck, but we were talking about knocking off the rust. Doesn't look like you've lost anything. You're right up there in the top 5, having a solid race.
Yeah, thanks. I wanted to start in the back, you know, not being in the playoffs or anything. Kind of wanted to feel like I earned my way back up through the field, but it's been pretty fun. The long run here can get extremely tricky, and I don't know how good I am at saving my tires for it, but I'm trying everything I can to kind of save them and make positions up as I go, and fortunately lost a couple there on pit road with sliding through my pit box, but I think we'll be all right.
Do you feel like your truck's better on the shorter runs or the longer runs?
I'd probably say the shorter runs at this point until I figure out how to kind of conserve the tires a little better.
That's kind of what we've been seeing. You might be coming to one to go, so we'll put you back down, and again, welcome back, pal.
All right, thank you.
Again, Ebel taking some time off after winning a couple of races early in the season. His last race in this series was July 10th at Daytona. But again, taking some time off due to personal matters outside of sim racing, and hope everything's all good there. Although, as you mentioned, he did slide to his pit box on that pit stop there, and Jordan Berry is now going to restart in 3rd.
As we see, Lindahl, Sane, and Wingfield are still on pit road. Unfortunate ending for their nights. They were all running so well, and then that incident occurred. As we are about to go racing once again, we're just about at the halfway point here in Texas. Jeffrey Meyer, your leader, his teammate Daniel Holloway to the outside, and green flag is out once again.
Another good start by Meyer, and Holloway will fill that 2nd position. Although we saw at the beginning of the race that same kind of start. We saw Holloway take the lead off turn 2. See what happens this time. As the top half dozen or so have gone single file.
Yeah, going back, the first 2 wide action we have is Richard Springer and Dakota Wilkins. This is for the 7th and 8th position. Jarrett Ryder's right behind him. And there goes Purcell.
And we see David Lindahl still sitting on pit road, 2 laps down, and is actually out of the cockpit. Man, that darn commentator's curse. It's crazy how that works, and it's unfortunate.
As Hebel has caught the back of the 57, he's going to try to battle him for 3rd place.
He's got a run on him.
Yeah.
See how Barry defends.
Looks like he's going to hold the middle line.
Alongside him.
Yeah, Barry was kind of holding him down. He was using that middle line down the backstretch. He's able to stay in front of him, but for how long is the question, as Hebel all over the back end of him going into turn 1.
Gap's still about the same between the 2 leaders. Actually, it looked like Meyer stretched it out just a hair.
Looking back at Dakota Wilkins, he and the 29 are still battling it out. As they single file behind him, Adam Purcell holding that 10th position. And then a pass behind them, Adam Breeden to the inside of Austin Collins, who we saw hit that wall just a few moments ago.
And we restarted this race, James, with I believe 52 to go, somewhere in that range. And remember, we saw this race last year end with PJ O'Leary stretching the fuel mileage while others came and got tires.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure how many laps you can go on a tank of fuel, but it's going to be close, and a lot of strategy is going to be played. Do they take a splash and go? Do they take 2 tires? It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out if it goes green to the end.
Or do they cut the run in half, maybe, and get 4 tires? Oh, Wilkins a little down on the apron.
They're battling good with the 21 and the 9 right behind them now.
And meanwhile, Jordan Berry is stalking Daniel Holloway. He's right on his back bumper through 1 and 2. Although you see the truck drift up a little bit in that dirty air. Here comes Barry to the inside. He's got the pass made, and Hebel will try to follow.
Oh, wiggle there. 26 is going to do a crossover down into turn 3.
Oh, we got one down on the apron, down the backstretch. It was Adam Breeden, but he gathered it up, no problem. Jeffrey Meyer pulling away from this group as they fight for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. And Corey Sherman has made his way up into the top 5.
The 57's holding tough. He's going to keep 2nd. But while all this is going on, it's Jeffrey Meyer who has a solid 1 second lead.
man, Barry, that's twice now he's come within inches of hitting the wall. We got a wreck on the back straightaway. Caution is out. That's Adam Faree. Yes, it is. Second in the points.
Gonna see what happened here with the 29. He's right behind Jarrett Rogers as they go into turn 1.
Same thing as we've been seeing.
Yeah, just like when he was under pace last with the 88, he loses it off of turn 2. Into the inside wall he goes.
Not a significant hit to the front end. Well, all that talk we just mentioned about fuel mileage, throw it out the window, because it can definitely make it from here on fuel. And scoring is showing Jordan Berry still ahead of Daniel Holloway in second place. Here they come. Looks like Jarrett Rogers is going to pick up a lap lead. There's a bonus point for the 9 truck.
Yeah, points he needed to, being 10 below the cut, entering tonight, is definitely going to help him.
Look like Adam Faree had the same idea.
Yeah, Adam Faree had 14 points going into this one. Hopefully he'll be able to salvage a decent finish. What just happened is not going to help him, but going to Phoenix, that's the track he likes, so he still has a shot. He's not out of it yet.
Well, think back to last week in Martinsville, how close he came to winning that race, that late race battle with Robbie Armstrong after a long green flag run, and a caution came out, and he pitted. A lot of other people did not, and it ended up costing him not only the race, but it cost him a top 5 as well. Meyer won the race off pit road, followed by Hebel, Holloway, and Berry. So Berry loses 2 spots on the pit stops. Let's see who we can grab a quick word with while we're pacing. Hey, Richard Springer, it's the booth. You got a copy, bud?
Yeah, I got you, boys.
We've seen you been stuck back there between about 8th or about 12th most of this race. How are the conditions back there where you've been running?
Pretty bad everywhere. It gets really loose. You have to be very careful on the gas.
And we've seen most of our incidents happen off turn 2. Someone's
I'm surprised.
Someone's self-spinning and hitting the inside wall, but at least fuel mileage ain't a concern anymore. You can definitely stretch it from here. You think you got the truck to contend for a top 5, maybe?
Yeah, I think top 5. I got up to 7th there. Found a place to run there after a while. Got around some of the guys at the back, and I was catching the group in front of me at Wilkins and Adam Purcell, and I think it was Corey Sherman. And then we had a caution. So I'd like to have a long green round. That'd be great.
Yeah, it would be nice to see, maybe a nice little run to end the race here. Well, the guy that you were behind in points by 1, Adam Faree, he was the one who brought out that caution.
Yeah, I heard that. I passed him on the track, and then he had a problem a couple laps later, I guess.
Yep, so he's going to be restarting in the back with some pretty heavy damage, so we'll see how this works out. You might end up being second in points by the night if you can bring this thing home, and of course we go to Phoenix next week, and that's where you won in the springtime.
Yeah. No, I want to. If I get out of here with a top 8, 7, 6, somewhere in there, I'll be happy because I think I can hold my own at Phoenix.
Or we'll see what you can do in these last 37 laps to go. Good luck, bud.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
So Adam Faree, he did get a lap lead before race control gave him the EOL penalty. Although the only problem is he didn't get tires or fuel, and he also didn't get any damage repaired. So he's definitely going to be hoping for a quick caution to get that rectified. So it'll be 37 to go. Meyer and Hebel on the front row. Green flag back out.
Great restart there by the teammates. You know, they talked that one over as he's able to get by Jeremy Hebel for second very quickly.
That's the first time that we've seen the outside groove. The guy starting second or first on the outside. Not really. I mean, that's the furthest anybody has been starting up there and falling. They haven't fallen back that much. So I'm sure he will. As much as he'd like to win this race, I'm sure he doesn't want to mess any playoff drivers up.
Good battle for fifth between Corey Sherman and Jordan Berry.
See a blinker behind Dakota Wilkins. I'm not sure who that is. That's Adam Purcell. Oh, he has a big wiggle off turn 4.
Yeah, it's going to bottleneck these three drivers. Austin Collins to his inside, as well as the 01. Richard Spring is going to end up suffering out of that as he had nowhere to go.
Yeah, you can definitely tell Springer being very conservative, as he stated in that interview we just had with him. About Adam Breeden coming up.
Ooh, he had to let out of the gas there. The 21 did.
Chris Breeden coming off. Actually, the last 2 races he's entered, he's finished in the top 10. Talladega as well as Martinsville. And he's going to go 3 wide around Austin Collins.
Oh, tapped the apron there, sent him up the track. He's able to stay with it though. He's going to fall in line behind the 58. Going up, we got a battle with Corey Sherman going on.
And he and Jordan Berry for 4th and 5th.
Little
Berry
wiggle
lost
there
a lot
by
of ground
the 57. This is going to open the door for Corey Sherman to focus on Daniel Holloway and try to take that 3rd spot away. As Jeremy Hebel up to 2nd, he's going to have to chase down Jeffrey Meyer, who has about an 0.8 of a second lead.
Still watching Adam Breeden back here as Richard Springer has got a run on him. 3 dysfunctional Patriot trucks, 7th, 8th, and 9th. And then the Highwaymen Motorsports teammates of Rogers, or Collins, and then Rogers. And then Adam Fariu's 14 seconds back of the leader in 12th, the last truck on the lead lap. He desperately needs a caution flag. That was a pretty heavy hit he took to the inside wall.
Austin Collins going to pass Adam Breeden, possibly coming off of turn 4 if he's able to stick with him. Looks like Breeden's going to have the advantage crossing the line. We'll see what happens down into turn 1. Looks like Breeden's going to clear the 99, going down through turn 2 onto the backstretch.
So we're now under 30 laps to go. Daniel Holloway beginning to close back in on Hebel for 2nd. I can see just how loose these trucks are off the corner. I mean, we've been seeing it all night with people wrecking off that corner, but even the guys up at the front, you can see just how much they have their hands full.
Yeah, this loose conditions taking a lot of drivers out of this race. A lot of it has been solo spins. I think we've only had one, maybe two incidences where there's been more than one truck involved. Only 12 drivers on the lead lap at this time.
Well, he was closing back in on Jeffrey Meyer, both he and Holloway. See what kind of lap times they run. What was Hebel really sideways off turn 4? Meyer runs a 31.9. Hebel runs a 31.6. And Holloway a 31.0.
Of
course, Holloway.
Holloway.
Of course, he's getting a little bit of Hebel's draft. See him running about a half lane off the bottom and then cutting it down to the white line.
When the leader crosses the line, we'll have 25 laps to go. Jeffrey Meyer with a dominating performance to this point. It's going to take a lot to be able to beat him.
As we've come to expect at this racetrack. We see the 28 of Cody Barber with blink smoke in front of the leaders.
Yeah, he's been having a little bit of a connection issue.
And you see right in front of him is Adam Perry. So that truck is definitely off the pace. I would have to imagine he had suffered quite a lot of engine damage from that crash off turn 2. And he is praying for a yellow flag. As long as it ain't him. I wonder how much of a distraction that is for our leader Meyer, seeing that truck in front of him blinking like that. Although he's a lap down, it's not really a threat in that particular instance, but I still have to label it as a distraction, as he is disappearing for a couple seconds at a time. I have to imagine race control would have to get on the horn here to notify the 28 about what's going on with his connection issues. Oh, as he actually almost spins out right in front of the leader, and now he's going to pull it on the pit road. So this time around, we'll have 20 laps to go. Everybody, for the most part, pretty spaced out. Oh, Ferree in front of the leader hits the wall. He's in desperation mode trying to get anything out of that truck that's left. And he's about to get put a lap down, although he will be in the free pass position. Although it's probably the least of his concerns right now, as he's still got some pretty heavy damage. I mean, basically what he is hoping for is a caution that puts him back on the lead lap, and then some big one in front of him happening. That's basically his only chance to really make up some points.
The gap is about half a second and closing. Does Jeremy Hebel have enough time? Less than 20 laps to go.
Oh, we got a wreck on the backstretch. It's Adam Breeden.
Oh, and Jeremy Hebel in the grass.
Oh!
Just as I was going to pan away, we see
Hangs
Hugel
on
through
to
the
it.
grass.
Now the caution is out as Breeden. Saw Breeden still sitting sideways on the backstretch over there. Oh boy, what a ride through the grass Jeremy Hebel just endured.
Gonna take a look at Breeden and see. Oh yeah, nice slide there to the backstretch.
Yeah, he actually missed the wall.
Yeah, he cut it.
Just tapped it with the back end, but a really nice job to.
He cut it
keep
well
from-
enough that he wouldn't smash the engine into it, and you see him getting it back going on the backstretch.
And then on the other end of the track, Hebel does basically the same thing and takes a big time ride through that grass.
That was a break for Hewell, that's for sure. He lost a lot of ground.
And also a break for Adam Faree, because he's going to get the lucky dog, try to repair as much damage as possible, and see what might take place. Because if you can recall back here in the spring, we had a similar situation. About 10 laps to go, a big wreck up in front that took a lot of the leaders out. We'll see what they do. But pit road is busy, as you can imagine. Oh, Austin Collins, he had stayed out to try to lead a lap. He didn't do it that time. I saw him, I guess, spin the tires a little bit, and he hit the wall for the second time, so that certainly was not what he was trying to do right there. But and Meyer will enter first and leave first, and this will set up about a 12 or 13 lap run to the finish. So let's see who we can talk to one more time. Let's see. He's up there in Do Not Disturb, but let's see if I can get a hold of him. Hey, Corey Sherman, it's the broadcast booth. You got a copy, buddy?
Yep, I gotcha.
Well, you've been very quietly just been kind of hanging around the top 5, keeping the truck clean. And now we're going to have about a 12-lap run to the finish to end this race. How are you feeling out there?
I feel like I'm getting better as the race goes on, so it seems like I've been just constantly moving up a little bit and just staying with the lead pack, and so maybe I'll keep moving up a little bit.
You're certainly in a pretty good position here. We've seen a lot of guys really push it off the corner and spin off turn 2 and off turn 4. As you probably saw Hebel have that big ride through the grass. How's your truck been handling off the corner compared to some of these other people?
I'm having a lot of problem off the 2. That's where I get loose. I got 3 and 4 down pretty good, but I'm still battling with 1 and 2.
Well, if it's any consolation, there are a lot of others that are having that same problem, so you're not alone, pal. But hopefully we can talk to you in a little bit as possibly a podium finisher, or maybe even better, because right now we're at 2 first-time winners in a row, and who knows, you're in a good position to make it 3 in a row.
Yeah, that'd be great.
All right, well, you're coming to 1 to green right now, so we'll put you back where you were, and good luck the rest of the way.
All right, thanks a lot.
So this will be 13 laps to go when we get this green flag. Sherman going to restart 5th. Actually, 4th, actually. 2nd on the outside.
And the 57 of Jordan Berry still hanging out inside the top 5. He's been having a great run all night long. Hopefully he'll be able to seal the deal with less than 15 laps remaining and get himself a nice top 5 finish.
He had one stretch early in the season, actually a couple, where a nice solid top 5 or top 10 run resulted in another one the very next race. So he's in a good position to do it again as the pace car dives off on the pit road, and we'll have 13 laps to go. Jeffrey Meyer takes off, and he is leading the field into turn 1 with a pretty good gap.
Yeah, good gap indeed as the battle for second. 26 and Hebel is going to be able to pass the 26 of Daniel Holloway. Dakota Wilkins now has the door open as the 26 bobbled there, almost hitting the outside wall. FMS teammates are now 2-3.
Well, Holloway is dropping
57.
back.
Oh, nice save there.
By Jordan Berry. Richard Springer, I believe he bounced off the wall passing those guys, but he made up about 3 or 4 positions right there.
Yeah, you see that damage on the 57, Jordan Berry. It's pushed in the middle on the back. He definitely got a little help there when he was sideways, but no harm, no foul, as it looks like everybody did will get through there. No caution, no wrecks. Definitely spread out the field a bit as that moves Spring up to 6. Corey Sherman hang on to that 5th position. But it's Jeremy Hebel. Will he be able to catch and pass Jeffrey Meyer? Less than half a second is the gap. 11 to go.
How about Dakota Wilkins up into 3rd place all of a sudden?
Yeah, Wilkins has been just biding his time. Started back in the 18th position, up to 3rd. His highest is 1st. He did lead a lap during a caution to get that bonus point.
Hey, remember he stayed out on the very first caution to get that bonus point and hung around about the back half of the top 10 ever since then, but here he is when it counts the most. And he knows every point for him is huge.
As Jordan Berry, who dropped back from 5th to what will be 9th if Adam Purcell is able to get around him. I'm sure Barry's hoping for a quick caution so he can get himself another crack out of top 5.
Yeah, no doubt, as well as a lot of other people, such as maybe Jarrett Rogers up into 7th place. And Richard Springer right there in 6th position. Remember we were talking to him earlier, and if he finishes here, he says he's pretty content with that. As we've got now 8 laps to go.
When you're plus 13 to the cutoff going into this race, a 6th place finish might feel like a win.
And plus, he also knows the struggles that the 29 truck has been having, so he'll surpass him in points if he finishes where he is.
Yeah, this one's gonna bite the 29 of Adam Ferry for sure. He was 14 points above the line. Currently sitting 12th if Austin Collins is able to secure the position. They're battling pretty hard as they cross the line. But not the points tonight the 29 wanted. He'll have to go to Phoenix and hope for a solid top 5, if not maybe a win.
And he's going to be the one on the bubble more than likely, because Holloway has entered this race 5 points behind Fareed. So, I mean, as things stand as they are, Fareed's going to drop from 2nd to 4th, entering Phoenix. Oh, Springer, big wiggle off turn 2. That allows the 9 of Rogers to pass him. So now he's got his hands full with his teammate Adam Purcell. Of course, Adam is someone who needs a really strong run at Phoenix. If you recall early in the spring, at Phoenix he won the pole, led a bunch of laps early on, but was unable to seal the deal, ended up getting himself in a early wreck that ruined his race. But up front, Holloway is all over the bumper of Wilkins. But for the lead, it's about stabilized at 0.6 of a second between Meyer and Hebel.
Hebel's going to need to hope for a big wiggle out of Meyer or something to happen. Now 0.7 of a second, and with 4 to go, that's going to be hard to make up for the one car of Jeremy Hebel.
I mean, as we've seen this season, I mean, Meyer has made very few mistakes. And again, just a tick quicker that time, about 200ths faster than Hebel on that last lap. And now, this time around, he'll get 2 to go. Of course, he wants to see that white flag to make sure that even if they wreck back there, there won't be a caution to result in a green-white checker restart.
Wilkins is able to hold on to third best he can with 2 laps to go. Daniel Holloway going to try all he can to get that position away from him, while Corey Sherman looks on right behind him.
Hang on.
That opens the door for Corey Sherman, who I was just mentioning, in 5th, hoping for a mistake. He got one mistake, and he's able to pass the 26.
That's the last thing Jeffrey Meyer wanted to see is his teammate bring out a caution, but he was able to save it, and we're on the white flag lap. Gap still about 0.6, and now Meyer half a lap away is Hebel a big wiggle, and 2 more corners for Jeffrey Meyer to secure his final 4 spot in Homestead.
That is if he shows up at Phoenix, which I have a good feeling he will.
Here he comes.
Lock him in. And
for the 8th time this season, Jeffrey Meyer is the winner in the Dynasty Racing League Truck Series for 2019, and he sweeps at Texas, won the pole and won the race both times.
And coming off of turn 4, Austin Collins and Cody Barber gonna finish 12th and 13th respectively. But the man is Jeffrey Meyer, winning yet again in the Dynasty Racing League Truck Series. He's gonna be the favorite to win at Homestead. As you see, Jordan Berry in the 57, give him a little celebratory tap. Jordan Berry had a great run going. He ended up 9th at the end of this one. Jeffrey
Man,
Meyer.
8 wins this season for Jeffrey Meyer. I know it's not quite 16 wins that Ryan Hesgard has this season in the Grand National Series, but I mean, it's been very impressive, and he's used to doing these burnouts. He's got some very good practice at it, particularly at this racetrack.
As he burns him down, let's see if we can get him in here for an interview.
Let's see, I got him right here. Hey Jeffrey, it's the booth again. Congrats again, my man.
Thanks.
I mean, this time no internet snafu that caused you to make a really valiant comeback. But you're in the Final 4. I mean, there was a good chance you were going to make it there anyway, even if you didn't win. But you can officially not have to worry about Phoenix anymore as long as you show up, of course.
Yeah, that's what we wanted.
And 8 wins this season out of 30 starts that you've made. Just a terrific season. But, of course, now we're wondering, now that you're officially locked into Homestead without any doubt, how confident are you that you can deal out at Miami and come away with the championship?
No, it's not. There's no guarantee. Just gonna have to practice some, and other years I've always ran up in the top 5, so I've been fairly good there. You know, I just gotta practice a little.
And of course, we know anything can happen based on the events of last year in the championship race.
Yeah, and I never know what I'm going to do at ISM, so it's glad to get this one out of the way because my
Yeah, I
luck
can
at Phoenix
recall.
isn't great.
Didn't you get involved? I think you got involved in a wreck here.
Yeah, I've been involved in wrecks every Phoenix race. So.
Well, you're officially worried next week. So a solid run, of course, for yourself as well as teammate Holloway, a top 5. Who you got to celebrate again?
What was that?
Oh, I'm sorry. I looked like I was starting to cut out. I was saying a great run for you, of course, and a top 5 for your teammate. Who else you got to thank?
Yeah, I thank DRL for putting on the league and James and Taylor there for doing the broadcast. You guys do a good job. It's always fun. It's way more fun when I get to talk to you.
I'm sure it is. We enjoy talking to you too, and definitely used to it by now. But congrats one more time, James. You got anything for him?
No, you pretty much covered it all. Congrats on the win, Jeffrey. It's been a fantastic season for you. Going into Homestead with a chance to win the championship is phenomenal to do it back-to-back years, and looking forward to seeing what you can do in the final 2 events.
Thanks. One of us are going to bring it home for Bad Boys Racing.
And we're looking forward to it. Congrats again, man, and we'll see you next week.
All right, thanks.
And coming home in second tonight, what a great return for him tonight. His first race back in the Dynasty Racing League since July. Jeremy Hebel, you got a copy again?
Certainly do.
You certainly proved that you haven't lost anything. Second place tonight after starting in the back. How about that run on the grass you took?
Yeah, that was fun, and thankfully I kept it pointed the right way. But I was kind of hoping that we would have kept going there if I wouldn't have spun out or went to the grass, because I think I was slowly gaining on Meyer there a little bit, kind of learning how to drive it on the long run and maybe saving the tires just a little bit more. But yeah, this is the way this is. This is a loose track, loose setup, and sometimes it can just easily get away from you. And usually pretty good at saving it, but there I kind of saved it, kind of didn't.
Yeah, I call it. I call it a save. I mean, didn't wreck, didn't bring out the caution flag, so all good. But you definitely mentioned how you were improving on the long runs, and we saw it. But as you were slowly but surely gaining on Jeffrey in those last couple of laps, how many more laps would you have needed to catch him and maybe make a Hail Mary for the win there?
I think if we maybe would have had about 10 more laps, but yeah, I mean that's the thing. Catching them is one thing, passing them is another, because there ain't a lot of grip on this track, and all you would have to do is probably block the low lane, and I don't think I would have been able to get around on the outside. But it would have been definitely interesting to see, and I wish we could have made it there. But after being gone 3 months, I'll take a second place.
It certainly would have been interesting to see how that would have played out. But regardless, terrific welcome back for you this evening. Who do you got to thank for that makes that number 1 truck go for you?
Well, I want to thank my teammate a lot, basically, because helping him out a lot, showing him how to run, helps me put down more laps too, and figure out how to run the track better. And glad to see him finish third. We're trying to get him into the final 4, see if maybe he can't pull off a championship win here. That'd be great. So, but otherwise, I just thank everybody that runs the league. You guys are putting on the broadcast. Everybody from race control to everything. All the drivers here. I mean, I've raced some other places. I mean, this is, to me, one of the best places to be at, and it made me feel real good being back tonight.
Well, we're certainly glad to have you back, and get anything for him, JP, before we let him go?
Yeah, welcome back, Jeremy. Glad to have you. It's been quiet without you, that's for sure. We know with runs like you just had after missing 3 months, I think it could have been a FMS Bad Boys Racing Homestead duel. But you'll obviously be rooting on your teammate Dakota Wilkins, who we're going to be talking to in a few moments. But glad to see you back, and congrats on your second place. Maybe you'll be able to steal a win next week at Phoenix, or maybe even Homestead.
Yeah, hopefully I got prior commitments, so I won't be here for Phoenix, but I'll definitely be back for Homestead. And I was running pretty good there last year, so we'll see what we got for him.
Well, we look forward to it, and we'll see you in 2 weeks, and should be fun.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, there's still no doubt in my mind that if Hebel had stayed throughout the entire season, he would definitely be up there challenging Jeffrey Meyer for this championship, as well as everybody else for this championship. Let's bring in his teammate Dakota Wilkins. Dakota, you got a copy? It's Taylor and James in the booth.
Yes, sir.
Well, you came into this race after a disappointing race at Martinsville, needing to make up some points, and you did so in a very solid way. Led some laps early on and come home with a podium finish. Great job.
Thank you. Yeah, after that Bristol race, I knew I had to do something to make up the ground, and stayed out early to lead a couple laps. And then on the last restart, I was like, I got to go. I can't play nice anymore. And was able to get my way to the bottom and got hooked up with my teammate and just followed him through the holes that he made.
We saw you hanging back around 7th or 8th through most of the race. Were you able to learn anything throughout the course of the middle stages of the race that helped you towards the end?
I don't know. I know the track temp, at least it seemed like it cooled off, so you were able to push a little bit harder with more grip. But with this setup and stuff, it was just way too loose for my liking, and I was not a top 5 car. So to be able to be up here and finish third is great. I'll take it any way I can. Daniel, if you're watching, sorry I had to drive you like a jerk, but it's the playoffs, man. Yeah, I still love you.
I'm sure he would understand. Well, I mean, like we said, you had to come in here and make something happen given where you were coming into this race. Of course, we'll have to tabulate the points to see where you stand going into Phoenix. But certainly, I'd say, mission accomplished tonight.
Yeah, definitely. If you can't win, finish as high as possible. And on the last lap, Jeremy had his little issue off too. I wish I was just a little hair closer and may have been able to get around him. But I'll take third and happy to have him back. It was definitely a lonely season if I didn't want to talk to you during the races.
Yeah, JP mentioned that it's been much quieter without him around. But a great run for the two of you as we see you doing a little dual burnout. How do you feel about Phoenix next week? Because we know that's the big one to possibly to know what your fate is going into Homestead.
Well, based on my history there in iRacing, not very good. I've never ran good at Phoenix, but the little bit of running I've done this week there, testing and some official races, I've got some speed. So if I can hopefully translate that to race pace, and maybe I'll come away with a win and won't have to worry about points.
Yeah, that's the easiest way to not have to worry about points is to just win. I mean, it's a simple thing to think about, but obviously a lot easier said than it is to do. But JP, you got anything for Dakota before we let him go celebrate his third place?
Yeah, congrats on the podium finish, Dakota. Definitely going to be helping you going into next week. I'm not quite sure if you're in the good or the bad points-wise. That'll be updated shortly, but looking forward to seeing what you can do at Phoenix and then, of course, Homestead.
Yeah, thank you. Like I said, hopefully get a good run at Phoenix and make it to Homestead. And I like Homestead, so if I make it there, I think I got a good shot of winning it all.
Well, we certainly wish you the best of luck these next 2 weeks, and we're looking forward to see you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, that is gonna do it for tonight. A pretty solid race overall, James. Let's run down the final unofficial results.
Absolutely. We got Jeffrey Meyer leading the race high 79 laps, dominating performance by him. Jeremy Hebel finishing second. Dakota Wilkins finishing in third, leading 3 laps. Corey Sherman, a solid top 5 finish for him. Daniel Holloway rounds out the top 5 in fifth with 15 laps led. Jarrett Rogers coming home in sixth with 1 lap led. Very quiet night for the 9 truck, but 6th place, pretty good for him points-wise. Adam Pasella as well, finishing 7th, a great points nice for him. Richard Springer 8th, Jordan Berry 9th, and Adam Breeden rounds out the top 10.
Yeah, that's now 3 straight top 10 finishes for Adam Breeden. That's really nice to see after the rough season he's had prior to tonight. Adam Faria, rough night for him. Did lead 2 laps, but wrecked off turn 2 and is now the man on the bubble as we go into Phoenix next week. Austin Collins, a tough night for him as well. He also will be on the outside looking in, entering ISM next week. Those 12 trucks finished on the lead lap. Cody Barber, 3 laps down in 13th. A tough break for David Lindahl. Had a great truck early on, but the commentator's curse, unfortunately, kind of caught up with him, and certainly his finishing position of 14th does not reflect how he ran tonight. Dustin Eicher credited with 15th position, Terrence Sinay in 16th as they got in the wreck off turn 4. Trent Helt in 17th position, 57 laps behind. Marvin Wingfield in 18th, 61 laps down. A very strange way to how we saw his race come to an end with his pit strategy, and then we saw him get loose off turn 4 and speed down pit road. Cody Gatsky also bit the turn 2 wall. Comes home in 19th, same with William Wingfield, and rounding out the field, Matt Vanderkoy in the 72 truck. And those 21 trucks made up our field tonight. And of course, thanks again to our race control, David Wright, for keeping things in order.
And unfortunately, I don't have the correct points graphic. Gonna have to get that fixed for next week. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. But we'll have the points updated on our website very shortly. So be sure to check out DynastyRacingLeague.com and go to the Truck Series Standings tab to check out where your favorite driver is currently sitting in the points after this event at Texas. Take a look at the next broadcast. We have the Dynasty Racing League Cup Series at Phoenix for the Phoenix 156. This is the cutoff race, and we'll find out who the 4 drivers are that will be competing at Homestead for the 2019 championship. So be sure to tune in for that one at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, Monday, November 11th for 156 laps. The next race for the Dynasty Racing League Truck Series is the Phoenix 181. That is Wednesday, November 13th, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 110 laps on the 1-mile track. Who will be the 4 truck drivers that will be competing at Homestead? Be sure to tune in and find out. Thank you to everybody that makes Dynasty Racing League possible. James Pandoff for owner, financial, and marketing. Thank you to the graphics for Martin Wenzel and Jordan Gonzalez, technical support as well. Thank you to the broadcast team, David Warborn Jr., Taylor Butcher Benjamin, Martin Wenzel, Getty Buckner, James Pandoff. Thank you to Ryan Branch, who did the Cup Series earlier this season. And thank you to all the special guests we've had. Thank you to the race controllers, Martin Wenzel, Getty Buckner, James Pandoff, Robbie Armstrong, Dakota Wilkins, Ryan Hesgard, Jeremy Hebel, Richard Springer, Eric Weatherholtz, and David Wright, who's been doing Truck Series. Thank you to the admins, James Pandoff, Getty Buckner, Martin Wenzel, Ryan Branch, and David Welborn Jr. Well, that was a very exciting race, Taylor. Jeffrey Meyer dominating like he did in the spring race at Texas. Going to Phoenix, there's about 6 drivers that are going to be on the anything can happen amongst those 6 drivers. It's going to be interesting to see who the final 4 drivers are.
Yeah, actually 7, because only Jeffrey Meyer is logged in, and Phoenix can be an unpredictable track sometimes, as we saw earlier in the spring and also last year at the cutoff race. So I'm curious to see who's going to make the Final Four. And honestly, I mean, any one of those 7 drivers could squeeze their way in and potentially compete for a championship. It'll be fun to watch.
And that's going to do it for the Dynasty Racing League Truck Series Texas 150. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to DRL TV. Thank you, Taylor, for joining me as always. And we hope you all have a great night, and we'll see you next week.